People moving around. Okay, so we'll take a comfortable seat. Let's roll the shoulders up and away from the ears. Keeping the chest lifted, we'll drop the nose a little bit toward the floor. And just starting to let go, just letting go with the exhale, feeling the exhale leave the body and taking with it anything we don't need for practice. Really paying attention to the exhale and making sure that our exhale is complete. And then noticing the quality of the inhale. Notice if we're shallow breathing. See if we can expand the inhale into different parts of the lungs. Dropping into a deeper connection with your being. What is it that you're needing or wanting today? What is it that's out of balance? Trying to explore the curiosity, not judgment, sensations in the body. What's the body telling you? Noticing also the relationship of the thoughts with the body. So when you have a thought, try to recognize it as such, but don't engage with the story. Instead, try to connect the body and the thought. Was the thought about something in the body, or what was the body's response to the thought? So it goes both directions. Really trying to get a sense for what is really here. Still with that same curiosity, notice if your thoughts are largely visual and images, or are they more words? Just getting a sense for what we have today. So words, pictures, a combination. We use the visualization technique to connect now with the breathing. So on your exhale, imagining an orange or golden light pouring out with your exhale, leaving the body. On your inhale, that light becomes silver, drawing in silver light, silver breath from your environment around you into the body. And through the transition, while it's in the body, it changes back into that golden light, leaving the body on your exhale. Bright golden energy. Each inhale drawing in a silver, bright energy, and then transforming that energy into the golden light that leaves the body out into the world. Trying to keep the visualization in line with the breath without causing strain in the body. Transformation happening within your being. And then adding to the context of the silver light on your inhale, drawing in all of the experiences, the energies, everything that is around you that is just as it is in that silver form. And as you exhale and are breathing out that golden energy, connecting it with your intention, your good intention for the world. Releasing that into the world, allowing it to expand and sparkle. So drawing in what is in this current state in its silver light, transforming it within your being and releasing out pure gold. Recognizing the power of our intention. Allowing the visualization to fade, just notice the effect on the body from that practice. Notice the effect on the breath. Take a couple of more breaths here. Just noticing the effect of that practice. On your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back in the space. All right, let's take that left hand down. We'll take the right hand up and over. Inhale up and over to the other side. Inhale, back up to center. Let's interlace the fingers, press the hands forward, elbows straight. We'll take the hands up and over the head. And bring the hands down, change the release of the fingers, and then elbows straight up and over the head. Recognizing or extending with that meditation that we did. We also can do this while we are practicing or moving the body. Our intention, our breath, our focus guides the direction of where we go. So we can actively move the body into the space that we want just by visualizing, by focusing, by breathing. Let's bring the hands back down. Let's take the hands back here by the hips, draw the shoulders back and down, lift the center of the chest and open here. Maybe looking up toward the ceiling, opening the front part of the body. And on inhale, we'll come on back up. Let's leave the legs crisscross. Going to come forward here. Just walking the hands a little bit forward. Noticing what may be going on in the hips. On inhale, come on back up. And change the crisscross of the legs, other leg in front, both sit bones still connecting with either support or the floor. And then we'll come on forward here. So I'm doing some extended learning in Ayurveda, and what's interesting is a number that keeps coming up is the number 6, which is an aggregate of 2 3s. And the idea in Ayurveda around this is that it takes 6 minutes in order to bring to change the prana in the body. 6 minutes of focus, 6 minutes of movement, 6 minutes of intention. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, to get to that mental state, it takes 6 minutes. And these are broken into 3 components each, and there's a lot of information behind that. But what I find interesting is that in neurobiology, they've also discovered that it takes 6 synapse connections in the mind, in the brain, in order to form a thought. There are 6 points that must come together or you don't even have the thought. It's a very small thought, just the beginning of a thought. 6 synapse connections, 6 intentions. And all right, so let's come on up here. And up from there. I'm going to stretch those legs out. Let's take the legs a little bit wide. Keep the toes up. And keeping the sit bones down. Let's come on forward here. So one way that we can work with this is to think about having 6 breaths in a posture. And so we can work with that by trying to keep those breaths even. So the inhale and the exhale of equal length. Maybe doing 3 at a time, a set of 3 and a set of 3. So what does that mean? It just means thinking about inhale 1, inhale 2, And inhale 3, whatever your rate is. We're going to do 6, at least 6 before we move, before we think about the next thing. So getting a little further into the Ayurvedic concept of the number 6, there are 3 doshas, and they're the 2 sides of each dosha. So the Vata, Pitta, Kapha doshas have both a positive or increasing side and a negative or decreasing side. The yin and the yang. So again, 2 parts, three parts, 2 sides, 6 total. The inhale, I want to come on back up. It's just interesting how there's that connection to number 6. All right, we're going to draw those knees in. We'll go through a whole bunch of that, but we don't want to get too lectury today. Let's come on to the hands and the knees. And we'll do a little bit of cat-cow now. So on your inhale, tailbone up, chest up. Exhaling, arching the back. You could think about using the number 6 here for having the length of the breath be 6 counts. See if you can inhale for 6 counts and exhale for 6 counts. So each time still keeping their correct form and drawing the abdominals in on the cat pose when you're arching. You might even notice we have push into the hands a little on the cat pose. On the end, on your cow pose, really lifting that tailbone and the head. And the next time that you come into cat pose with the arched back, that will be the last one, and we'll come back to a neutral spine. From here, let's walk the hands forward a few inches, spread the fingers, draw the hips forward, half plank pose. So hips in line with the shoulders and the knees. I'm going to tuck the toes of the right foot and lift that knee off the floor, 3/4 plank pose, reaching back through the right foot. So actively pushing into the hands, toning the muscles of the arms, breathing here. I'm going to bring that knee down. We'll come to the other side. Push back through your left foot, 3/4 plank. And we'll bring that knee back down. I'm going to come from our half plank pose to a half side plank pose. So let's swing your right foot out. I'm going to rotate here, bringing your hips in line. Your left foot comes to the floor. shoulders stack, and you could take your left hand up toward the ceiling. So half plank, half side plank pose. So you're actively pushing in the hand that's on the floor and reaching the hand that's up toward the ceiling, trying to separate those shoulder blades. We're going to roll on back to our half plank pose. And let's try the other side. So swing your left foot out and rotate, bringing your right foot to the floor. Keeping those hips still forward, taking your right hand up toward the ceiling. Shoulders are stacking. Separating the shoulder blades and breathing. Come on back to a half plank pose. I'm going to lower down to the mat now, all the way down onto the belly. Tailbone down, tops of the feet down, elbows in cobra pose, lifting the head and the chest. Exhale, lower back down to the floor, reach through the feet, straightening out the legs, pointing the toes. Let's try to lift both feet off the floor, tailbone down. Just trying to lift here as if someone's got your feet and you're pulling them behind. Abdominals supporting. Breathing here. We'll lower the legs back down to the floor, tailbone down. I'm going to lift the head and the chest, cobra pose, elbows in. Exhale, we'll lower the upper body back down to the floor. Reach back through the feet, tailbone down, lift both feet, stretch through the legs. Nice and long. See if you can maybe get the thighs off the mat. And lowering the legs back down, let's lift the front of the body again. Cobra pose, lifting the head, the chest, elbows in. If you're wanting more now, lift the feet as well. Coming into this version of locust pose, reach back through the feet, lift the head and the chest, the elbows still in close, and by your hands by the shoulders. Thinking about length, so really separating the feet from the head, nice and long spine as you lift. And then we'll lower everything back down to the mat. Abdominals in, push into the hands, come up to half plank pose. And then we're going to take the knees wide and whitey prayer pose all the way back, hips to heels, reach to the arms. And on the inhale, we'll come on back up to hands and knees. So we're going to use a blanket and a couple of blocks. So we're going to work our way into Anjaneyasana. So you're going to use your blanket to pad your knees. And you can have a couple of blocks near the front of your mat. And the idea here is you're going to pick up your left foot, you're going to kick it up by your hands. If you can kick that foot all the way up, you can use your blocks as you need. To be able to try to get the foot, you can walk it forward so that the ankle is up by the hands, and then you're going to bring your hips forward to bring your knee over your ankle. So you should feel a stretch in the hip flexor and your back leg. So your front knee is over your front ankle. Back knee is down. You're starting to feel some resistance here. So if you can keep dropping your hips down, so you really feel that stretch in the hips. And it's up to you on how high you are on your blocks. Maybe you don't need your blocks at all, but you could come down a bit if that feels okay. A couple breaths here, let the hips open up. Now you could stay here. If you want more of a challenge, tuck your toes of your back foot underneath, nice and strong, make sure they're connecting with the mat. And then try to lift your knee off of your blanket. Good. So here you're just pressing back through your back heels, trying to straighten that leg. Just a couple of breaths here. And then we'll bring your back knee back down to the blanket. I'm going to work our way up with the hands on the thighs. So still trying to keep your hips forward. If they came back over your back knee, still going to keep them forward. Tailbone straight down toward the floor. Lifting the upper body. Good, yeah, challenging balance, squeezing into your core for your balance. If you're okay here, take your arms up over your head on Jnanasana. From here, we're going to come into the twist. So you can bring your hands down. You're going to take your right arm to the outside of your knee. So it's really trying to work it down. See if you can drop the elbow below the knee. So let's see if I can turn this way to make it a little bit more obvious. So you're going to try and get that elbow as much to the outside of the knee as you can, and really draw the belly around over the top of the thigh. And then you might be able to release the hand down to a block on that side of your leg. Yeah, so you really, I mean, the more you do this, the more you'll feel that leverage that you can get with the arm against the knee. So the knee is pushing back, the leg is pushing back to try to stay over your ankle. And you're starting to twist. Open the chest toward that side. You could release your left hand to your hip, draw the shoulder way back. Notice if the hips came back over your back knee. If that was the case, bring them forward. Front knee over the front ankle. Very nice. Couple of breaths here, and as we evolved on Jnanasana. Yeah, when you're ready, you want to come on out from there and let's release. We're going to take the hips back toward your back foot, lifting the toes with your front leg. Maybe sitting back here. Fancy, zip the knees. That one? Okay. You can do this one as, you can do these also in a warrior one position. So if you want to come up, if that's better to do this in a warrior one, you could come up to standing. What we're going to do from here is we're going to come down to the inside edge of the front foot. So if you're in a warrior one, you could just drop down from there onto a block. So for those of us on the floor here, what we're going to do is we're going to bend that front knee again, coming back into your Anjaneyasana. So you're either in Anjaneyasana or you're in a warrior one, same foot forward. And then from here, we're going to come to the inside edge of the front foot. So you could be on a block, you could drop down to the floor. What we're trying to find is the edge of that stretch. So you're going to try to come down as low as you can. So really, we're hoping to feel this more in the hips than the knees. So really drawing into your back, into your hips here. Maybe you can keep dropping down. If you're up on, in a warrior one, you might feel blocks here. More about the hips than the knees. So your front knee, if you're dropping down, will come just to the outside of your shoulder. Okay. From here, we're going to come on back up and we're going to switch sides. You can release your front foot, bringing it back to hands and knees. I'm going to try the other side. So as you're ready, we'll kick the other foot forward. And our intention is to get a hip flexor stretch on your back leg. So remember, take those hips forward and your front knee over your ankle, even if that means walking the toes a little bit forward. It should actually feel really good because we just had a contraction on that side and now we're extending. Just breathing here. So very often when it rains, when we have a lot of kapha energy in the air, our hips get tight. Our hips are places where we hold a lot of sense of responsibility, sense of obligation, sense of home in particular. And the cold, wet tends to aggregate in our hip joints. So this is something that is really helpful just to be patient with and explore what's going on in the hips. How can I allow for more opening here? I'm going to try, if you want a little more here, tuck the toes of your back foot if your knee is down and try to lift the knee, pressing back through your heel, doing some extension on that back leg. And then we'll bring the knee back down. We're going to work our way up into Anjaneyasana. So as you come up, notice if your hips come back. We're going to keep them forward. And as you lift the chest, the tailbone drops down, protecting the lower back. And if you're okay here, arms up over the head, Anjaneyasana. So the other thing to pay attention to is very often this hip that's on the bent knee side starts to roll up towards your shoulder. You want to think about the outside edge of that hip rolling down toward the floor, trying to make that side of the body nice and long. It's also a bit of a challenge of balance here, squeezing in toward the core of the body. From here, we're going to come into the revolve version. So you're going to try and drop your opposite arm to that outside of the knee. As much as you're able to get the elbow below the knee, Gonna wrap the abdominals around and try to reach for that block on the outside edge. Remember, hips are still forward and you're twisting around the length and the spine. So you can bring your opposite hand to your hip and open here. Inhale, we'll unwind and we'll straighten that leg. So you're going to take the hips back towards your back foot. Toes may come up on that front leg. Nice hamstring stretch. Then from here, I'm going to come on back forward. This time we're going to come to the inside edge of that front foot. So you could take your blocks there. So hips are forward, knee is bent, that back knee could be up or down. And then finding your challenge place by dropping a little lower here and on the inside edge of the front foot. Trying to keep your knee mostly in. It might come out a little bit, that's okay. But once you drop down, basically the knee comes to the outside of the shoulder. Maybe you can bring your elbows down. Maybe we're working with a low level of blocks. Point is to just find the challenge place and to open the hips, feeling the back leg, the back hip opening, front hip contracting. And then from here, I'm going to come on out and slip that foot back, knees back onto your blanket. And then we're going to come on up to standing. So any way that works for you. Once you're up, I'm going to take the hands to the hips and let's circle now. Circling the hips. Noticing the back, particularly the lower back, the hips, the knees. I'm going to pause that direction, hula hoop the other way. And coming on back to center. All right, let's see what that practice will do for our triangle pose, Trikonasana. So we're going to have that right foot forward. If you want to use a block, you can take it to the outside edge of the right foot. Big step back on your left foot, toes in, heel out on your left side. The feet are in line. The hips are in line with the feet. So really opening here, seeing what that practice did with the hip openers. And we'll take those hands out. When you're ready, Trikonasana, reach to the right hand and come on down. Hand to the block or your shin. Stacking the shoulders, stacking and opening the hips. Breathing here. From here, I'm going to come into warrior two. So bend your front knee over your ankle and come on up. Virabhadrasana 2. Nice and strong in the legs. Here, extended side angle pose. So bend the right arm, forearm to the side, left hand all the way over the head and extend. Drop the hips down toward the floor, front knee bent right over your ankle. Now, if you want more challenge here, try to reduce the weight on your elbow and just straighten the arm, let it hang. Yeah, so noticing how dependent you are on that elbow. On a strong inhale, let's come on back up to warrior two. And then reverse warrior, right palm up, left hand down, nice side bend. Inhale, back into warrior two. And release the arms, straighten the legs. You're gonna come on over to the other side. So you might just swap the feet or turn around. Left foot forward, right foot toes in, heel out. Remember the hips are in line with the feet, both legs straight. When you're ready, arms out and Trikonasana. Reach to the left hand and come on down. Shoulders stack, hips open, knees are straight, and we're breathing in triangle pose. And then we'll bend the front knee over the ankle, coming on up for warrior two. Strong legs, strong feet, full breathing. And then extended side angle pose, bending that left arm, bringing the forearm to the thigh, stacking the shoulder to bring that hand, right hand all the way up and over the head. Drop the hips toward the floor or bending that front knee a little bit more. So still strong in the legs, particularly your back leg. And if you want more challenge here, try to reduce the weight on your front elbow, maybe even straightening that arm. So you notice when you do that, just how much you have to draw into your core using your leg muscles, your abdominal muscles, rather than just sinking onto that elbow. Arm strong. Inhale all the way back up to warrior two. And then reverse warrior on the side. Left hand up, right hand down. Inhale back into warrior two. And straighten the legs and step the feet together. Okay, we're going to come all the way down now onto the back, all the way down on the floor. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Just breathing into the belly. Just bring the hands to the belly. And just breathing here. Seeing if we can get the belly to rise and fall. I'm going to walk the feet in close to the hips and release the hands down. See if you can touch your ankles or your heels. Maybe you can even slip your fingers around the front of your ankles. If you can't do that, it's okay. Just kind of touching the feet. So really in close here. And outside edges of the feet parallel as much as you're able to do. So I might feel a little bit pigeon-toed. And then press the shoulders down, push your elbows into the floor and draw your shoulder blades together more so that the tops of your shoulders can come down toward the floor. It may feel like a little bit of a back bend here. And now push into the feet and lift the hips up toward the ceiling. At the same time, push down into your shoulders, trying to get them into the floor. Come into a higher bridge pose. And then breathing into the belly, all the way uphill, feeling the belly rise and fall. And then we'll slowly lower the hips back down to the floor. And let's pick up the feet for happy baby pose. So drawing your knees in towards your shoulders, you can reach down, grab your feet, shins, or ankles, and then kick the feet up toward the ceiling, separating them. The knees are bent and drawing down. And the more you use your arm strength here, the more you can pull down, drawing your knees a little closer to the shoulders. And if the hips are way up toward the ceiling, try to lengthen the back out, bring those hips back down to the floor. Now release the feet, kick both feet straight up toward the ceiling. Wrap the hands around the legs. And let's start to use the arm strength to pull the feet over your head. Now somebody may be able to grab the back of your thighs. You might also be able to walk your hands up towards your feet. Try to keep the knees straight, trying to bring those feet over the head, and you're still keeping those hips mostly down on the floor. Maybe you start to feel the abdominals press against the thighs. Just breathe in here. And then we'll release the feet. Let's bring them back down to the mat. All the way down. Kind of straighten the right leg and take the left foot onto the right thigh for our twist. Right hand grabs a hold of the left knee and let's go all the way out to the right side. Starting to bring the knee toward the floor. Left shoulder drops down, opening the chest toward the ceiling. On your inhale, we'll roll on back to center. And then work our way to the other side, straightening out the left leg. Right foot on the left thigh, left hand on the knee, and rolling all the way over to the left side, dropping the knee toward the floor. Right shoulder stays down, chest open. Enjoying the twist. On inhale, we'll roll on back to center. And you can make your way towards Shavasana. Pose of class, corpse pose. Making sure you're super comfy and that you can relax completely. Draw your awareness back to observing the body and the mind. Observing your thoughts, observing your breath, observing the sensations within the body. Trying to be with what is, without judgment or anticipation. As you're ready, allow some movement to return, and then to work your way to a seated position. Hands together at the heart. Thank you all for joining and for sharing your yoga practice this morning. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And just really noticing your hips today. Notice the water element in the body, just how things are moving and breaking up. And see you in class again.